Hi, and welcome to Justin Bartlett Animal Rescue and Justin Bartlett Animal Hospital. If you are watching this video, you are already part of our family. And today's video is very, very important. We're going to talk to you a little bit about cross-contamination, which will save lives. So Peter, would you like to start us off by just telling us a little bit about what does cross-contamination mean?
Okay, Janet, so cross-contamination is when the tech touches an animal that's contaminated or sick with any kind of diseases, whether it's ringworm, scabies, parvo, and then goes on to touch another animal without changing clothing or washing the hands or changing gloves. So the ideal is to make sure that before we leave the contaminated area, we leave all that behind.
So cross-contamination can happen from a pup to a pup. Can it also happen between a pup and a human being? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. There's certain diseases such as parvo that you can pass on from an animal to a person. And it doesn't mean that a person's going to get parvo. What it means is that now that person's clothing is contaminated, and when they go home and touch another pet, their own personal pet, they can contaminate the pet, and that pet can become sick from parvo.
I didn't understand or really know that you could carry any type of contamination on your clothing and go about. So are you going to be able to show us the proper way to prevent cross-contamination?
Well, I will do my best just to show you exactly how it should be handled. Of course, it's not in the perfect and ideal scenario because we are not going to deal with a real pet. I'm going to show you the very basic steps that you can take so that you can prevent cross-contamination.
Okay, great. So let's get started first with the supplies that you need to get ready, knowing that you are going to be the tech handling any type of animal that has one of those possible diseases that you talked about. So how about we start off with the gear that the tech must have on?
Okay.
All right, so Peter, I see you have a whole table full of supplies. Can you tell us what is here and what the purpose is?
Sure will. So one of the things you have to remember, we want to save steps. That's one of the things. The other thing that you should keep in mind is that once you're in there, you're not walking in and out, or around the hospital to get whatever you need. You want to make sure that whatever you need, it's here. So before you step in, you put it all on, and you walk in with whatever you need inside there to take care of the pet.
What would happen if I got inside and I realized I forgot something? Who do I call? What do I do?
Okay, so at that point you need to page for a supervisor, or if there's another tech walking around, they can reach in and hand it to you, but they cannot step in unless they put on the gown and just like you did, like I will do, and the gowns, the cap, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so once in, you call for a supervisor or wait for someone to pass by. You don't cross-contaminate by coming out and getting something and running back in. All right, so how about you start us off with some of the things that are on the table. You're getting ready to go in and take care of an animal.
Okay, so first I'm going to grab my gown, and I'm going to put my gown on. Usually, I find it easier to do it this way. It doesn't matter what you put first, whether you put the cap on first. The mask, obviously, we already have on, so it really doesn't matter what you put on. So you get rid of all this because you're not going to need any of that. I'm going to hold on to this guy here. And you can really do this by yourself. You don't need anybody to, help you out. At first, you might, if there's somebody is around to help you, that's great. If not, no biggie. You can just tie it on the side right here, just as such. All right, now I'm going to put my booties on. Now keep in mind that this area here is not contaminated. So I can move around, I can still go out and ask for help, I can still go out and ask for any medications that I forgot.
Peter, should you ever take your shoes off and just put booties on over socks?
Well, it's funny you asked that question because some of the techs will have flip-flops inside there to use at all times. We also have disposable booties, not these, but cloth booties, like the airline booties,
Okay.
that they can use instead. I just, like I said, I always wear my sneakers and don't have a problem.
So whether it's flip-flops or sneakers, the booties still go over those to cover up what you're wearing.
Correct. Right. This is my beautiful outfit for the day. Now I'm going to put my cap on. Not really required to have a cap on, but at the same token, for ladies that have long hair, you don't want the hair touching the crates and contaminating all that. In my case, obviously, there's no need. So, but I'm still going to put it on just to show you the proper way to do it.
So is it a choice that the techs can decide whether or not they have to wear a cap?
If they
or
have
do you want
hair, they should put it on.
males or females?
Correct. Now, if you have multiple pups inside there or cats, you should change your gloves between each animal. In this case, I only have Fluffy inside there, so I know I'm not going to be changing gloves around. So I'm going to take the medication that I need for Fluffy. I'm going to take Fluffy's food. Carefully. Okay. Now I'm ready to go inside.
All right, Peter, so in some cases there might be more than one pup in the isolation room. How do you make sure that you are treating the correct pup? What's the first thing the tech must do?
Okay, so for one, we always write the names of the pups on the window here, so we know which pup is in which crate, okay? Then also each crate should have the pup's name on. That way you know exactly, where the pup is. The one thing that you also must remember is that if you remove, which I'll show you in a few minutes, when you remove Fluffy to clean Fluffy's crate, you still got to put Fluffy back in the original crate. You do not move Fluffy into another crate and say, let that, I'll take care of it tomorrow or the day after, whatever. Fluffy has to go back to his original crate.
All right, so if we move Fluffy from the crate that he's in now below so that you can take care of him, when we're finished, we have to now clean the crate that we moved him to as well as the crate that he was in?
Exactly, because now you obviously contaminated the crate below.
Okay. Do we start off, Peter, with any type of temperature or weight on the pup, or has that already been taken care of?
If the pup is unstable, we really appreciate if you do take the weight and the temp. Obviously, to take the temp, you might need another person, to help you with that, because one person cannot take the temp by themselves. But it's really simple for you to take the pup, and I'll show you right now with Fluffy here. So you take the pup out, right, and while you're holding Fluffy, okay, you do this, and the other person, all they have to do is just insert the thermometer, and that's it. They don't even have to touch Fluffy.
Okay.
So let me put Fluffy back in here. Okay, so at this point, I have everything that I need for Fluffy. His medication, his food and water, because you want to clean that every time. Now, you also have to remember that when you're treating a puppy, you're treating not just for the illness itself, you're treating the entire body. So if you're able to get some music in here, that's ideal. If there are other pups that have the same illness, give them a little time to play with each other. That ain't no different than people. That will boost their morale a little bit, let them run around a little bit, so they can feel a little better about that. Just like, no different from us. When we feel sick, we take a shower, we feel better. Pups are no different.
But Fluffy, who we know is sick, he would not be able to run around with the others, is that correct?
If there's other pups in here, then yes. As long as they have the same exact diagnosis.
Okay.
Okay, and they can run inside here in this contaminated area, not out there.
All right.
So at this point, I'm taking Fluffy out.
Maybe you must have Rocky.
I'm going to put him in a crate below so that I can clean his crate. Fluffy went to sleep. Taking his food. gonna give him some more clean newspaper. If there's anything that you see different about Fluffy, you want to document it. And then you also want to relay the information to the doctor, such as Fluffy's getting better, Fluffy is declining. So you got to keep all that in mind. And one thing that I can tell you is that his poop will tell you a lot. And we normally go by diarrhea, soft serve, formed. That's how you can tell whether the pup is getting better or not.
And when you say document, is that something you put on the window as well as notes in the file?
Well, once you're done here, you'll see how I'm gonna, clean up myself, and I can use another computer to document everything in the system. Okay. There's also a in-hospital sheet that you need to put some documents in there.
And is that every time you come and take care of Fluffy throughout the day?
Okay, now Fluffy is there. I'm gonna give Fluffy his medicine. Fluffy is very cooperative. Good Fluffy. Good boy. That's a good boy. He just wanted to boost his morale a little bit.
What are you doing now, Peter?
I am getting rid of all the sharps and all the syringes that I used. So let me get Fluffy his clean water and food. And again, I'm gonna document whether Fluffy ate or he didn't. Okay, so at this point, now we clean the crate that we used for Fluffy. Now, as you can tell, Fluffy did not poop, didn't pee, didn't do anything. So what I still like to do is, I am going to spray it.
What are you using, Peter, to spray?
That's a really, really important question that I did not mention earlier. So this is called Rescue. Rescue is a solution that kills 99% of viruses and bacteria. Any bottle here that has a green wrap is known to have Rescue in it. Generally, red has alcohol, green has Rescue, blue has peroxide. It should have the name on it, but if it doesn't, it will be in green wrap.
Okay.
So like I said, since it wasn't really dirty, I'm just gonna leave it soaking. It never hurts. Rescue, obviously it's it's the best thing to use on anything and everything, any surface. You can use it on any, even once the pets are cleared, let's just say from a part of the sea or whatever, we give them a bath, we cut their nails, and then we spray them with the Rescue solution.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm just going to clean the containers that Fluffy used, the bowls that he used for the food and the water. So the next person that comes in has a bowl. Now these bowls will stay here, and they can be reused. You do not take this bowl out of here. This is contaminated area. Anything that's contaminated stays here.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, I like to believe that I'm totally done. I'm going to show you what I need to do now before I step outside.
And what is in this foot bath, Peter?
In the foot bath, you're going to find the Rescue solution. But the difference between this spray bottle and this here, this is the same Rescue solution that is used to mop the floors, which is more concentrated than the solution that's used in the bottles, in the spray bottles. Now I'm taking my gloves off. And I'm done.
Do you need to change your mask in case Fluffy got close to your face?
That's a very good idea. I'm sorry. I'm so used to keeping this mask on at all times that I totally forget that I have it on. Just shows you that, we should keep our mask on at all times. But thank you for reminding me. Now, the one thing that I'm a little bit overcautious kind of thing, because I do have puppies at home, what I do for myself, either I'll do it myself. Let's see. This one doesn't.
So I see it has a green label, so that means it's rescue,
Correct. So
but
here,
not the rescue for the foot bath.
right, this is a different rescue. So what I do for myself is this. I'm just making sure that if anything landed on me, it's killed. This is totally harmless, well, harmless to, the skin or myself or the clothing, but it's deadly to the bacteria and the viruses.
So would you change your mask?
Absolutely.
So
I will
change your
definitely leave the mask here. In this case, because this is a training video, I don't have to take it off.
Okay.
But yeah, you want to leave everything behind. Anything that could possibly be contaminated, you want to leave it behind.
All right. Now, are you also responsible for taking out the contaminated garbage at the end of the night, or that doesn't matter?
You need to mop. Well, first you sweep and mop the room. And yes, but you don't take the garbage out twice, because again, you want to limit that cross-contamination. So you want to take the garbage out at the end of the day.
Peter, now that you've finished taking care of Fluffy, and let's say Fluffy did have parvo and this was a contaminated room, where can you as a tech go now to work in either the hospital or rescue?
Okay, so unfortunately, because I'm assigned to, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but because I'm assigned to a contaminated area, and again, I don't know whether Fluffy has parvo or ringworm, whatever the case might be, I can only do paperwork at this time. So I can help out with, pharmacy prescriptions. I can take phone calls from back, another computer, but I cannot touch any other animals, whether the rescue animals or even, the private client animals.
Okay. So Peter, to recap, it's critical that the first thing is you get all of your supplies ready, and that once you are inside the contaminated area, if you forget something, you call for a supervisor,
Correct.
you wait for someone to come by, you do not step out. You follow the protocol of not putting Fluffy in with another animal that might not have the same type of contagion that we're looking at, cleaning both crates, using the proper rescue to do that, and then the procedures for stepping out, that everything that you have put on and all the materials stay in that room and nothing comes out.
Correct.
So is there anything that for training that the techs could practice or that you would like to add?
Well, they can, by all means, they can practice putting on the gown. As you can tell, it's really simple, but not everyone, can really do it by themselves. They can practice doing that. They can practice putting their gloves on. Feel comfortable about doing all this by yourself, putting a cap on. Know where the supplies are. Make sure that you have everything here ready before you go. And if you can remember that, that helps a lot. Because a lot of the times, you do hear, oh, I forgot, the syringe, or I forgot the medicine. If you can remember, make yourself a list of everything you need. When you get here in the morning, you're already assigned to your area. So if you're assigned to the isolation area, then just go ahead and quickly make yourself a list as to what you need. We could have a standard list, but truth of the matter is, every pet has a different requirement. Every disease will request different medicine or different supplies. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing I'm gonna, just like you said before, do not walk around with the booties on. Never walk around with your gown on that you have already stepped in there. Once you step in there, just consider yourself contaminated.
All right. Well, for all of you who have now joined the Justin Bartlett Animal Rescue Hospital and Family, thank you, thank you, thank you. We know that you'll do a great job when you're assigned to the isolation room.
Thank you.